Hey everyone, this is Andy Hall. You're watching The Best Advice Ever, the show where awesome people come on and talk about the best advice they ever got. Today, is it tonight? It's tonight as we record, as we are live. We have YouTuber BrainBug on to share some wisdom and maybe some information about bugs too. Who knows? Maybe we'll be able to get bits of information about our insect friends. How are you doing today, BrainBug?
Oh, I'm doing all right. It's pretty hot one today, so happy to be inside on the Laughing in Disbelief channel. If you are not subbed, yeah, come and check it out.
You know, the thing is that I really love doing these interviews, but I am horrible at promoting myself and promoting the channel. So thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it, to tell you the truth.
Oh yeah, I'm all about promoting and promoting my friends. You know, you got a good platform. Watching Andy's show is always a good time. He does some interviews. Gets on there with Sam, and they start riffing off each other. It's great. Makes you laugh. And during this time, what we all need is a good laugh. So. Yeah.
Yes, I find laughter under normal circumstances to be quite useful, but during this pandemic, I find special solace in comedy and doing these shows. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm always happy to tune in and listen to what you guys are talking about, and you know, and there's some political stuff in there, some religious stuff in there. It's all, you know, all important issues, but the stuff we need to be making fun of because.
Totally. You know, I don't know about you, but I cannot be anyone but who I am. So this is just how I interact with people under normal circumstances. I start talking about one thing and then it turns into, it might just go into politics or religion or non-religion.
Well, you know, we were told, I don't know about you, but I was told all my life about two things you don't talk about in these at work and school or whatever, religion and politics. So now we have about 2 or 3 generations of people who don't understand religion or politics because they were told that all their life.
Because yes, they are now woefully unable to actually engage in any kind of public discourse.
Right. Yeah. So anything that might be controversial. Yeah.
Right. Hey, I want to say hello to Junk Shop Library out there in the chat. How you doing, Junk Shop? Or yes, I'll just say Junk Shop. Yeah. So dude, tell me about the setup that you have behind you. I know you got your Black Widow spider.
Yeah, we were just talking about that before the start of the stream. I got a Black Widow spider here. This is Beetle Haven. I have a couple of different species of flower beetles in there, and I have a stag beetle, a female stag beetle that I caught. I got a male one too the other day, and he escaped. And yeah, that's a whole thing. But I was going to do a video about their. I made my battle beetle video.
I saw that
about the stag beetles and rhino beetles, basically scarabs, and how they compete and stuff. So get a female together, the male will start doing these cool displays and stuff. I was hoping to get him to do that on camera, but okay. And then I have I guess, let's see what you can see. I got the LP. This is my big girl. This is my bird eater, and she is she's a
I saw that video. I saw the video with the bird eater. It's a huge spider.
Oh yeah, she's massive, and she's still pretty young. I keep saying she because my fingers are crossed that it's a girl, because the tarantulas, for the most part, the females live longer. The kind of a loose rule is that the bigger the species, the bigger the disparity between the lifespans of the males and the females. So that's not a hard rule either, but it's a kind of a rule of thumb. But so she might live, if it's a female, upwards of 20 years, whereas a male may only live 5 to 8 years, and that's different species live at different lifespans, of course. But you know, the red knee tarantulas, I don't have one. I wish I did. They're the kind of the ones you see in movies all the time. Got the striped legs and everything. Mm-hmm. They can live up to the females can live up to about 40 years. It's crazy how long that such a small animal can live.
So are Yes, hello, Sandy. Sandy the same. I'm curious. Now, for the female of the species living that long, are they fertile for that entire time?
From about the time that she's probably big enough to breed. So from about the time of this molt, um, until she's done, she's going to be fertile. The males generally, that's why they live such short lives, because they get to a certain age, and they molt into an adult form that has longer legs, and they need longer legs because their body size is smaller than the females, where they got the big. And when they're young, the males and females are younger, they look pretty similar, but the female keeps that heavy size to her, obviously, because she's gonna a lot of reproductive stuff going on inside there. But the male has a really small abdomen and really long legs, because he's got to be able to hold her back while he does his mating ritual. So he'll come up to her hidey hole and do his little drumming thing on the ground.
Right.
Kind of a little dance they do, and she will either accept his approach or try to eat him. So,
oh wow,
he's got a chance on both sides there. Once she agrees, they start by putting their legs up, and he's got hooks on his arms when he's mature. That's a good sign. It's not all species have that, but this species will has little hooks on there that he holds her back while he copulates with her. And so he has to have those longer legs, because as soon as he's done doing his thing, she's done with him as a mate, and start looking at him as a good first meal to help with her fertilized eggs.
Evolution's a weird thing, my friend.
Yeah.
It is. You could definitely see how that works out. You're done evolutionarily speaking with me, and so now it's just lunchtime.
And if she doesn't kill him, he will just go off and die. He's done eating by the time he gets to that age. He doesn't really eat too much. After he completes his little cycle there, he will be dead generally within a few months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, to him, it's a long time, but
yeah,
us, it's so fleeting. But tarantulas and spiders in general kind of have that disparity going between the males and the females. The more like common spiders are what they call true spiders. Definitely have a lot more size variation between the male and female, but they got that reputation for the female eating the male after mating, and praying mantises have that reputation too.
Yes.
And a lot of that is kind of due to the way that the research was done on it. That the way we learned about praying mantis mating is that they would put a male and a female together in a enclosure to mate, and of course he can't get away.
Yep.
So he's lunch. But most of the time, most species of mantis, the male is able to make a quick escape. That's another species though that he doesn't live too long after that.
I was gonna say, right.
But the females don't live too long after that mating either in that group.
Right, because they just like us. We're just gene machines pushing those genes on to the next generation.
Right. Yeah. And everything that all the different emotions and reactions that you have, it's all chemicals in your body driving you to respond certain ways. Spiders and animals are the same way.
Right.
So, I was talking to someone or arguing with someone about trans rights on Facebook the other day. And that's what it came down to, is that they're like, oh, if you can't tell the difference between a biological male or biological female, then I don't know what's wrong with you. And it's like, no, everything about us physically is an expression of hormones telling our bodies to react in a certain way. And I would use bees as an example, because that's an animal that you have this normal body style, and as environmental factors come into play, they will trigger it to have a hormone response to change his body style. So it may have been, the queen died, or some hornets came in and killed everybody, but things will be triggered to make these bees switch their roles, their identity, because there's drones that don't have any reproductive stuff going on at all with them, and they will switch to that. So everything, I told this guy, I was like, everything that you are attracted to in a person can be triggered in, no matter what their biological sex is, can be triggered in that body through hormones. So everything you think is woman is actually expression of caused by hormones. It's biological expressions on your body. So, that was
I had Dr. Nathan Lentz on the channel a couple of weeks ago, and he looks at evolution, at biology, and we were talking about animal behavior, being related to human behavior, and what was really interesting about our conversation was talking about how different sexes, how different animals have different genders within the same sex. So just because you're a male of a certain species doesn't mean you have the same role to play as all the other males,
right?
Within that species.
And that's having just the two genders that people want to push. Even having just two biologic sexes is kind of more the exception than the rule. It's almost, I don't want to say it's exclusive to tetrapods, but it's definitely something that's more vertebrate centric. In the invertebrate world, there's all kinds of different, all kinds of crazy different reproductive setups and systems with some species being hermaphroditic, and they form these big coils when breeding season comes, and different annelids and stuff. It's really just amazing that people are so close-minded to think that all these other animals have all this different variety, but no, humans, we're just male and female.
Well, what you do is so important because it undermines the bigoted argument that it's not natural, because you hear that all the time. Homosexuality isn't natural. Two genders only, that's natural. But when you actually look at the data in the animal kingdom, things are much more complicated.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and the closer you get to us, like you're talking about homosexuality, we have our closest living relatives practice homosexuality. They are very promiscuous too. So, monogamy is not necessarily the only way too. But bonobos and chimpanzees, they have different cultures and different societies, and gorillas have an interesting setup, because in that society, I call it a society loosely, but in gorilla, there's only one male that's fulfilling the role of a male in the reproductive cycle.
Right,
so, and then you got your females, and then you got the other males, the bachelor males or whatever, that don't participate in the. Some of them, I mean, obviously, when one dies, one other one steps up into the place and fills that role. But they actually, they, like the silverback, they have a physical expression of when they are changing from this role, this gender role, let's call it a gender role, to this one. So it's not just not uncommon in animals, it's not uncommon in primates, the group that we belong to.
I think this is a great place to pivot over to what's the best advice you ever heard.
Oh yeah, okay. So this a little bit of a tale to go with it. So I actually married my my high school girlfriend.
Oh wow!
We lived a pretty wild and racy lifestyle there for from through my youth. I was a musician and played in a lot of bands and stuff. And we'd spend a lot of time going out and partying, and living that wild lifestyle. You've been in the entertainment industry, you
Oh,
know a little bit about that.
it
About
can
that
get crazy.
lifestyle. Yeah,
It gets really crazy, actually. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
and I got older, and we had a kid on the way, and I settled down, bought a house, got a factory job, tried to settle down. She wasn't having it. She wanted to go and run. She wanted to go and have fun, and I don't blame her. You know, looking back, we were so young. So
Yeah.
what she said to me, she said, "This is the best advice that I've ever gotten in my entire life." She's like, if you want all this, if that's the life you want, because we bought a house and everything and had a kid, but that's a whole other can of worms. If you want all this and you want to start being more domesticated and living that lifestyle, and there was other things too. I like to read books, and I like to learn. I guess that's but I was, just to put it in perspective, I was pretty gothy back then. I had a mohawk, and I wore eyeliner, had my ears all pierced, my eyebrows pierced.
Very cool. Very cool.
I was pretty, I was a bass player in a metal band. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
So that's back then. That's when you wore the jeans with the chains.
Right.
Anyway, if I give you an image of where I'm coming from, or where I was moving into this nerdy guy you see before you now.
Sure.
And she's like, if that's what you want, why don't you go be with somebody who likes to sit around and read books and stay at home and be boring. And I did, and I have never been happier. So I found somebody. You can't force yourself. Once you get to a point where you want to be settled down, where you want to take your life in a different direction, maybe you're not happy with it or what have you, make that change. Don't be scared, because what you're looking at changing your life towards might be perceived by someone in a negative light.
Right. Before we explore that a little bit, KCA Randy wants to know how metal was metal in your band.
Oh, it was the early 2000s, so we were new metal. It was like Mudvayne and Static X, that kind of sound. That's what we played.
Okay.
I slap bass, and I can do all that funky kind of stuff that they were doing back then. Korn, I love Korn.
Korn. Okay, sure.
I play lots of instruments, though. I actually mostly strings. Can play banjo and bass and guitar and mandolin. I love playing a mandolin.
That's impressive.
And that it's weird. I went from back then all I played was bass, but as I kind of moved towards it, I'm like, oh my, this is so much fun. So I have a weird memory. That's why I can play music and remember stuff the way I do, which is a little different than what most people, because a lot of people play by ear. I play by like math, where my hand goes in the numbers.
Oh, dude, that's impressive. That is impressive. What I find interesting about your story is that there are different elements to it, because there's not only courage of being able to make the choice, but there's also insight in understanding how you're changing, as you get older.
Right. Yeah, that was the main theme of it. Is I'm changing. I'm becoming this person who wants to be responsible. I was living a pretty wild lifestyle. There's a lot of drugs, a lot of sex, a lot of drugs, sex, and rock and roll. That's that's and she was all about that. My ex-wife was. I mean, as far as I know, she still is. But I haven't talked to her in a while. But
right.
But I kind of you want to move away from that a little bit. That can be pretty rough on you if you're not cut out for it.
There are many people who fall into the lifestyle, and their art suffers if they're doing the art thing, if they're a musician or a comedian or whatever, and they can easily just drop out of the scene because of health reasons due to drugs.
Right. I mean, but there's some people who it just becomes them, and they're just. My son's a musician now too. of course, my oldest, my 16-year-old, he's actually just released a music video a couple days
Oh, really?
ago. So yeah, he's doing all right with his little band. But I'm always telling him, just because you're doing good, because I've had bands before too, just because you all are doing good doesn't mean you should give up on, continuing your education. That was kind of the next leg of my journey. Once I was able to get away from that, I realized, like I said, I went to work in a factory, and I realized I'm totally uneducated. I don't, so, when I met my wife, and she really encouraged me to go back to school. So I went back to school, get into a more comfortable job where I'm not, working myself to death. I don't know if it's factory work, but it can be pretty grueling. Working like
Stephen King used to work before he started writing. He used to work at a paper mill up in Maine, and I was reading through his biography, and it sounds like horrible, grueling work. At least back back then.
Have you ever smelled a paper mill?
I never have. No, I never have.
Driving down to if you ever headed down to Panama City area when you're driving into Florida, across Alabama, there's a paper mill right there off the highway that smells for like 30 miles. It's terrible.
Yeah, that's
couldn't imagine working there every day.
Right.
But
so with this idea, with this knowledge, with this experience of you having the insight and then making the choice, how does that inform you raising your kids?
Well, I feel like, and maybe that's just a parent in general, that you always want your kids to do better and make better choices than what you made. I would hate to see any of my kids waste their chance to get an education early on. So I'm always promoting, learning outside of school to varying degree of success. I get really excited when something like when Aaron Ra does his systematic classification of life videos. I would get so excited when a new one would come out and try to get any of my kids to sit there and watch it and learn from it. Like, I don't want to sit and listen to that. But that's kids for you.
Right.
Which is one of my inspirations why I'm so goofy on my channel, because I'm trying to make it fun. I want people to just to see that, science can be fun. I'm not trying to, when was the last time we had someone come out and do that? Like Bill Nye, the science guy, and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think it is a stereotype that American culture has, that if you're smart, you're not fun, or if you're smart, you're very restricted, and that you're not, fully engaged in life. And if anything, I found that the smarter a person is, the more playful they are in a certain way, right? They may play around with numbers in their head, but let me tell you, that is still play.
Right. Yeah. I can teach people to get excited in their own backyard. I can. Yeah. That is what makes me so. And people will watch me. I'll go out in my backyard and I'll find a beetle, or I'll find a fly, or any kind of insect, a weird bug, a praying mantis. Find something that I can take them in and let them share in that excitement of finding it and looking at it. And I like to describe it. I like to figure out what species it is and all this information about it. And I love to share that with the world. And I want to teach other people to be able to do that too. Especially while we're on lockdown, you can't go to the zoo. You can't go to, a theme park or a water park during the summer. You can't go to the beach.
Yeah.
There's stuff that you can do in your own backyard that you never even thought about. You can go on a safari in your own backyard. You can.
True enough. And the real danger of the pandemic and being in lockdown is the malaise, right? And you can just easily fall into this rut of non-intellectual, just hanging out and vegetating and not really being engaged. And that's why I like, because I saw your video where you found the stag beetle in the backyard when you were watching Back to the Future. And it's like, this is great. This shows passion for what you in real life,
right,
about the wonders that you can just find in your backyard.
That was real too. Everything that I was not putting anything on. My wife was going to be like, "Oh, my husband, my husband ran off and left me for a stag beetle when we were," because I was like, "We got to stop the movie. I got to collect this. I got to go in and talk about it right now." Because I was so excited to share it.
I want to thank Junk Shop Library because he mentioned your tats, because I was watching your videos and I'm going, you got some kind of like some pretty intricate tats on, what is it, your right arm?
Yeah. Well, it's my left, but you're right.
Okay, your left. Right.
Yeah. So I got Electrodectus species. Let me see. This is a new camera I just got for my birthday last week, but I'm trying.
I can see the reds very nicely.
Yeah. It's pretty. So that's that one's got all kinds of hidden people's initials and stuff. And I got my kids and my parents and my wife. All hidden into the joints and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so yeah, Lactodectus is the widow spider family. There's more than just black widows. There's the red widow, which is Lactodectus bishopi. Really cool. Got the legs and the cephalothorax, the front part, are red. And it's still got the classic black with the red markings on it for the abdomen. Mm-hmm. Really beautiful spider. You can see beauty in even black widows. They're gorgeous animals. But this is a fictional one. That one doesn't exist in nature. That's my species. On the other side, I have. Let me see what kind of angle I need to get that at. No. Yeah, that's weird. I'll stand up and.
Okay. Yeah.
Show it. Now that is a.
Is that a scarab, a beetle of some kind?
No, it's a tarantula too. It's a different. It's an ornamental tarantula, it's closely related to this one I have right here. This is called this one on my arm is called a Goody sapphire. This is they call these pokies. P. regalis. This is I'm going to embarrass myself and not know the name. I know all these scientific names, and then they sometimes they just disappear into the back of my brain. But so there was some yellow in here originally. It's kind of faded out now, but this one was supposed to be done in like a watercolor style, whereas this one was just kind of classic ink style. I have some old stuff from my rock and roll days. This stupid bracelet thing. I wanted to get that symbol, which was a long time ago. I got that done into like a rhino beetle or something cool like that. But we'll see what happens. Right now nobody's getting tattoos, at least not around here.
Oh, right. True that.
It's hard enough to get a haircut. Had to make an appointment 8 weeks out, and then go to the parking lot, call them and tell them I was there, and then they come out with their mask on, and it was quite the ordeal.
My hair was getting quite long. It had been months and months, and I just went down to a place down close by, and I said just short. Gave him the specs, and I told my girlfriend. She's like, "Wow, that's really short." It's like, well, it's been short like this before. You probably just don't remember it.
Yeah.
And I don't know when the next time I'm going to get my hair cut. Maybe in August, and then I just assume once flu season starts, it's all duck and cover once again.
Right.
And so once August happens, I may not get a haircut for 6 months. Who knows? BrainBug.
Yeah. Well, this is like the summer that wasn't. This is like, I'm still. I don't know about your area, and people in my area are not acting like there's anything different. They're still going to the beach. They're still having a block party. I took a picture of a freaking block party not 3 blocks away with, and they had to get a city permit or something because they had tents up in the road, and they had the sawhorses blocking off the road. They had to get permission to do that.
Yeah.
From the city.
I am lucky that I live in one of the more liberal areas in Massachusetts. We had a mandatory mask order before any of the other cities, before Boston or Cambridge. And but I travel outside of my city all the time, and I the water park, the little splash areas for the kids are open, and all the kids are just hanging out together, and a lot of the parents don't have masks on, and I'm just gobsmacked.
Yeah, I mean, my son had his 16th birthday back at towards the end of June, and he wanted to go to this restaurant and that was at the point where things were looking like maybe they were going to be right. The restaurants were we could open up. We have to have outside dining, all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But we went in there and we're being all cautious, and people around us are just bumping into each other, and it's like I don't even understand anymore. Really see. I don't want to see the worst in people. I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like you said. You're in a more liberal area. It's even though I've moved into Illinois, it's still pretty conservative. It's still pretty rural. So, I'm a kind of a minority here.
Yeah. No, I had Corey Ryan Forrester, a comedian from Georgia, from the Chickamauga, which is pretty far out from any major city, and he was talking about a lot of people there not wearing masks, and even if you're wearing a mask, people will shoot you the dirty look for wearing a mask. So, oh hey, this is funny. Junk Shop Library said, I don't even understand anymore, unquote, should be 2020's motto. I think that's so true. So true.
Junk Shop, you saw that stuff I shared today. These people I was talking to, I just said, hey, is that something along the lines like, hey, why not just wear them? Because they were complaining about mandates and laws to wear a mask. I'm like, why did you even need a mandated law? Don't you want people to not die? And these vicious people, I was a monster. What they said about me, it's like, I think you're human garbage, and just because I said, they're like, because it's very libertarian, I guess, is the way to describe their disposition. It's a very libertarian stance that they want to take, and the more that they are pushed towards that transition, the harder they resist it.
Yep. No, you're right, and it's just the effect of decades long of poor education and undermining of people's faith in the potential for good government. Like people should understand that good government is libertarian nihilism. That's what Ricardo Oliveira said. Yeah, I think that's a great term, libertarian nihilism.
Ricardo.
Yeah, that's an excellent term, man.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, it's not even the freedom to die crowd; it's the freedom to kill. They're not going to die. These are people between 20 and 40. These are the people in that post anyway. They're going to be fine. I mean, I know that they're talking about maybe there being some long-term effects from COVID.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's true.
Did you have COVID?
I did not have COVID. What I did was that because I work in a residential home, for one of the other staff people was exposed to COVID. So the whole house was locked down for a week. So basically I was there 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I
think I remember you talking about that to Chris, that you got isolated. Yeah. Anyway,
I was like,
these people were not in that they were not in the demographic that's going to die from that. They want to be able to go out and infect people and kill people because that's their right, to infect people and kill people. And I don't want to give him credit to say that he came up with the saying, but Eric Murphy, you always hear him say, your freedom to swing your fist around ends at my nose. Well, your freedom to cough your virus infected breath all around stops at my grandma.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think as I'm raising two kids, like yourself, raising children. If I can give them some basic scientific knowledge about the process, about the world, having a respect for how things work, and kind of a love for skepticism, for believing in or knowing things are true or accepting facts even when you don't like them. it goes against a lot of our genetic programming, but it is such an important trait to have.
The fact that you're recognizing that too. That's the thing too, is to recognize your genetic programming, recognize what you're predisposed to, like racism. There's this genetic programming. This group of people looks different than the stock of people that I come from. So I other them and they're different from us. That's genetic programming. That's survival thing that's hold over that we don't need anymore. But your brain still wants you to react that way. You have to try. That's the thing, people. Try to get over that. Just like when we were talking about the trans issue earlier. You need to try to get over these things that seem unnatural to your brain, because that's just those chemical reactions that we were talking about with the bees. That's the same thing. It's triggering you to react away. And we've moved above that. We've removed ourselves from natural selection. Remove yourself from some of those genetic dispositions that you have in your mind to say that I want to act this way about these people because they're different. That's because your genetic, you're responding to basically animal stimulus. Rise above being an animal.
Yeah, from the lower brain stem, from the lower brain regions there, the reptilian brain. So I think, what's that?
So some of them, that's all they have. But
I think this is a good way to turn it back to the advice that you got, that you received, and how you're living your life in an honest way and in a courageous way, even though at the time it might have seemed scary. But you got to follow the data and be willing to take chances on that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was it's a hard step to take. That's a life-changing step. I of course I didn't quit playing music. I didn't.
Sure.
I still play music to this day. Definitely. I got other things. I got 3 kids and whatnot. I don't play nearly as much as I did, but I was able to pass that skill on to my children and be responsible about it. Because that's another thing that when I was running around like that when I was younger, I was not living a responsible lifestyle, not financially responsible, not taking proper precautions with
everything.
So definitely got lucky to get out of there as in one piece as I did, but
well, that's also a truism to life. A lot of it's luck, man. A lot of it, it's amazing that any guy survives being like 16 to 25, right? When I look back at the crazy stuff I did, and it's like, wow, I feel pretty lucky. Yeah.
Led around by those hormones we were talking about. That's,
dude.
That's what it was all about.
I think this is a great place to end. BrainBug, where can people find you online, sir?
Okay, well, I am, of course, got my YouTube channel. That's BrainBug's Hive out there. You can check it out. I do some different stuff. I do interviews, kind of like what Andy's doing here, and I make some different videos to educate about different bugs, spiders, insects, all kinds of cool stuff. I am generally pretty active on Twitter and on Instagram. I like to share facts and explore the world of insects. So if you're into that kind of thing, I just like science, because I'll talk about science too. Check out my YouTube channel. Check out hit me up on Twitter. I'll be happy to converse with you as well if you have any questions about insects. One of the main resources that people tend to use me for is insect identification, which I'm not an entomologist, but I'll be happy to look at your bug and see what it is. All right, and I'm so happy for Andy to have me on tonight and to be able to talk to you guys.
So once again, thanks to everyone in the chat, Junk Shop, Ricardo, everyone in there, and of course, Jesus. What's that?
Jesus Wizard Spatula. I see you out there.
Junk Shop mentions that BrainBug, you're the only mod here, and you should drop your link.
Yeah, I see. I'm just like what Andy said at the beginning of the video. I'm just terrible at promoting myself. I'll promote everybody else, and
Yeah, and then it's like, oh yeah, well I do this thing over here too, which I completely forgot about.
Right.
All right,
Exactly. All right. I'm gonna drop my link in your chat here. So
drop down.
if you are not subscribed, please give me a sub, give Andy a sub, and give Junk Shop a sub too. They are a fun channel. They read the Bible and kind of riff on it. That's what they do over there at the library. So if you're into that, it's always a good time.
How could that not be fun? That sounds like
Right.
loads of fun.
Fun.
All right. Well, hey, thanks again, everyone. This has been a lot of fun, as always. And BrainBug, thanks again.
Yes, thank you for having me. Y'all take care.